Türk Hava Yolları charter seferlerine başlayacak. Bu güzel eseri muhakkak bitireceğiz.
Picture this moment. You're about to make your opening move on a chessboard. You run an airline operating countless flights to destinations across the globe. You're seated at a conference table with senior executives from Airbus, facing one crucial question. Do you want to purchase the A380, the world's largest passenger aircraft? Perhaps you might be tempted, but the answer is a definitive no. Emirates was acquiring A380 aircraft as symbols of prestige. Other prestigious airlines were lining up to acquire this magnificent aircraft. However, Turkish Airlines was pursuing a completely different strategy. Each time, Turkish Airlines took a calculated step back. Isn't this situation intriguing? What could be the reason? Istanbul Airport was almost designed specifically for A380 operations. The reinforced taxiways and massive gates capable of accommodating Boeing 747s were all designed with this aircraft in mind. Yet no crew member representing Turkish Airlines, adorned in the company's signature red uniform, ever boarded an A380. Why did Turkish Airlines, which has grown from a regional player to a global giant, repeatedly turn down the biggest symbol of aviation? The answer is simple. This represents a strategy that prioritizes intelligence over impressive size. It's not about fear, but about seeing what the commercial aviation sector cannot see. This is a story of adaptability rather than prestige, frequent flights rather than size, and sustainability rather than showmanship. By the end of this video, you will understand why Turkish Airlines, with its rational strategy, has repeatedly rejected this prestigious aircraft. Before delving deeper, we need to address this question. If you were managing a large company with infrastructure to solve all problems and unlimited ambition, would you bet on this massive A380? Or would you follow a different strategy? We go back to 1993. Turkish Airlines was facing a crucial election that would determine its fate. There was great tension in the company's boardroom. The Boeing 747-400 was a symbol of pride and power, and then-President Turgut Özal insisted on having this aircraft. He kept repeating the aircraft's name, discovering the world. Turkish Airlines proved its strategic capability through detailed analysis. Mathematics does not lie, and they faced a daunting reality. Turkey's flight demand surged in summer and nearly evaporated in winter. In winter, the skies were filled with empty seats. Imagine facing such a situation in your market by mid-year. You need to fill a large aircraft with a 120-ton fuselage every day. As a result, they opted for the Airbus A340-300. They chose this aircraft because it has a capacity of 270 passengers, is sufficiently large, and is easy to manage. The maintenance costs for this aircraft, equipped with CFM56 engines, are also quite low. However, the most important factor was that while other airlines sometimes operated flights with half-empty planes, these aircraft had an occupancy rate of 85%. They approached commercial aviation from a different perspective. It was not a simple aircraft choice. While other major competitors were planning to fly with more passengers, Turkish Airlines adopted a philosophy of consistency. Consider how this strategy took shape in the early 2000s. They continued with A330-200 and A330-400 aircraft. Later, they opted for the Boeing 777-300 extended range. The Boeing 777-300 could easily reach desired capacity with 300 seats. Turkish Airlines did not ignore the super jumbo A380. They continuously conducted calculations and research. They discussed other airlines' interest and order numbers in meetings. All necessary infrastructure for the super jumbo was ready. However, Turkish Airlines chose strategy over prestige. For this reason, they rejected the super jumbo every time. But with that first A340 decision, they realized it was not just an airplane, but a compass. The right airplane is more valuable than the biggest one. This strategy caused the company to shine like a star. While Emirates Airlines conquered the world with jumbo jets and built an empire, Turkish Airlines took a completely different path. The company did not focus on single routes like Emirates. It transformed Istanbul into the most critical hub for aviation worldwide. While the Airbus A380, carrying 600 passengers to London, operates one flight per day, Turkish Airlines operates 3 flights daily with A330s, each carrying 350 passengers. Which is more logical? This is where the real game begins. The number of connections between 2 points increases threefold. In Emirates' flight model, for a businessman traveling from Bangkok to Lagos, waiting means loss of time. He would have to wait for the single flight time. However, according to Turkish Airlines' strategy, if the flight is delayed or timing doesn't suit him, he can easily choose the next flight. This creates significant advantage for passengers. When calculations are made, each new flight creates connection points that grow exponentially. Turkish Airlines has built something like a spider's web with more than 350 flight destinations. This is unprecedented. Istanbul Airport seems built specifically for Airbus A380 aircraft. Those huge ramps, those wide doors, none of it was coincidental. Turkish Airlines could have started using A380 aircraft immediately if they had decided to. However, thanks to their critical strategies, they chose not to use super jumbo aircraft. Instead, they discovered something different from the raw capacity that many aviation companies adopted. They discovered the advantage of flexibility in operational processes. When supply-demand balance is disrupted, crises arise and new opportunities emerge. In such situations, fleets must change course instantly, like sailors caught in hurricanes. Think about it this way. Would you rather do one job perfectly with one huge piece of equipment? Or would you rather do many different jobs with multiple pieces of equipment? In commercial aviation, math doesn't lie. We're talking millions of dollars. According to Turkish Airlines' strategy, jumbo jet A380 aircraft can carry an average of 600 passengers. To maintain profit-loss balance, it must carry at least 390 passengers on every flight. This number must be met on every flight, not just during peak times or summer. Imagine Istanbul in February. Tourist traffic stops completely. Business travel halts. Can you fill a jumbo jet flying to London 3 times daily with 380 passengers? Theoretically, yes, it's possible. However, consider the competitive environment created by other airlines. Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 aircraft in Turkish Airlines fleet consume approximately 2.8 to 3.1 liters of jet fuel per passenger per 100 kilometers. However, since A380s consume more fuel, achieving these figures isn't possible. Turkish Airlines made a critical decision to order an average of 150 A350s and more than 100 new generation A320s and A321neos. When fuel economy is considered, even decimal digits amount to millions of dollars. Considering hundreds of daily flights, figures reach enormous proportions. Efficiency is the cornerstone of commercial aviation. However, we must not view this solely through operational costs. The A380 is equipped with 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines. Each engine is an engineering marvel, producing approximately 85,000 pounds of thrust. However, maintaining these engines is incredibly expensive and complex. Airlines need to master many details to accommodate A380s in their fleets. They need specially trained crew, special spare parts, and special airport facilities. When future sustainability is considered, problems become clearer. Commercial aviation regulations require increasingly stringent emissions laws. Passengers now choose aircraft with lower emissions due to environmental awareness. When you enter Turkish Airlines maintenance hangars, you'll learn another reason they rejected the Airbus A380. While A380s have good features like four powerful Trent 900 engines, they also have drawbacks. This engine type has unique, rare, and complex structure. Imagine your maintenance team facing A380 engine issues at 2 a.m. Your specialized team would need unique tools and special spare parts. Turkish Airlines learned this in the 1990s when fly-by-wire technology first emerged. Complex systems require proportionate support infrastructure. A small fleet of 10 A380 Super Jumbos would require special hangars, elevators, upgraded facilities, and large investment. Turkish Airlines has always followed long-term strategy of maintaining fleets with two aircraft types, such as Airbus A320 and Boeing 737, or Airbus A330 and Boeing 777. This diversity provided bargaining power and flexibility. Remember, when flights involving Boeing 737 MAX were suspended, Turkish Airlines managed to weather this crisis more easily than companies whose entire fleets consist of narrow-body Boeings, because all eggs weren't in one basket. Adding Airbus A380 to the fleet would have disrupted this delicate balance. For a company that has adopted systematic efficiency and operational flexibility as guiding principles, A380s disrupt this balance. Turkish Airlines connects over 300 destinations with extraordinary reliability. In commercial aviation, would you risk all operational excellence by including this aircraft for prestige? When we consider this, we understand the real story behind Turkish Airlines' jumbo jet rejection isn't about missing opportunities. While competing airlines marveled at Airbus A380's grandeur, size, and capacity to carry small villages, Turkish Airlines worked on different questions. They weren't thinking about how big they could be like competitors, but how smart and efficient they could be. This principle led to rewriting modern aviation strategies. Instead of betting on A380s, they built ecosystems that could adapt instantly. When 737 MAX crisis hit, they successfully adapted. When pandemic crisis hit, they survived with less damage than competitors. When new markets emerged, they acted faster and took leadership. A380s have numbered days. Airbus has stopped production of this aircraft. Airlines are quickly retiring their A380 fleets. Turkish Airlines' strategy becomes even more important at this point. What makes this story most intriguing is that Turkish Airlines didn't reject AA380s out of fear or due to aviation economics. They had budget, infrastructure, and ambition to accommodate these aircraft. However, the company rejected A380s because they recognized a fundamental truth about commercial aviation's future. In aviation, bigger planes don't necessarily mean greater success. Success is directly proportional to how efficiently and intelligently you connect points across oceans. Sometimes the most intelligent choice is rejecting the largest option on the table. As Turkish Airlines grows rapidly, launches flights to new destinations, increases flight numbers, and establishes new partnerships, you need to ask yourself this question. Would you prefer adding the world's largest and most luxurious aircraft to your fleet? Or would you rather be a company that can reach many destinations worldwide? Turkish Airlines' choice is clear and speaks volumes. In commercial aviation, sometimes the strongest decision is the one you don't make. What do you think about this? In a world obsessed with grandeur and size, could there be perfect wisdom in choosing simplicity over showiness? Have you ever rejected a choice that the whole world deemed impressive? Did it lead to something better? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Did this video influence your thoughts on critical decisions? You can be sure our next video will provide more enlightening information. The most interesting stories in aviation aren't about planes flying in the sky, but about planes that never took off. Keep your eyes on the sky.